Tag, very nice, very evil.
That's tag shit.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really.
Welcome to another installment of the Tag Tier List. Now, of course, we don't have the whole squad here, but what we do have is the Tag Predictions Championship bitter rivals. You know, the Austin and Rock.
Yeah, the Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. the Randy Orton and John Cena.
It's gonna keep going.
It's gonna keep going.
Now, in light of a recent controversy, as it pertains to the Royal Rumble winners. Now, of course, one of the two, I have absolutely no gripes when it comes to the controversy and the backlash of said winner. However, Jey Uso is a topic of discussion in terms of what people are getting upset about and quite frankly confused. Now, me personally, I'm not confused by it, and we'll get into it, of course. And you'll start to see a trend as we go through this tier list. Which, by the way, this tier list is going to be encompassing all of the Royal Rumble winners throughout the years. So
hold on. Before we get into it, I will say this. I've been there in person to see the aura Jey Uso has. If you have not been there in person to see the crowd go up for Jey Uso, kindly shut the fuck up.
Now,
but not sorry.
No, Scoot.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Hey, have at it. I will say this.
But we will get more into it when we get there. But I'm just letting y'all know.
Oh,
if you
that was
haven't
perfect,
been there in person,
I was actually going to preface that because I was going to let the people know that this list is going to be fairly quick. Because we're not going into an extensive thing like we do with the champions or, you know, other things that we usually go in depth with when it comes to the tier list. This is really just to rank where we would stack the winners throughout the years, whether they're deserving or not, or whether we agreed with the choice or not. So it goes in line with the topic of discussion. But the main topic of discussion is this year's Royal Rumble winners, and we'll get into that when we get to those two winners, which of course is going to be in chronological order of the years. So we will be capping off that with those two and that discussion as well. So for those of you who don't like to wait around and you just want to skip to the end, everything is going to be time stamped, of course. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with, well, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so used to doing our tier list that I keep forgetting that this is a new one, and we kind of have to go through the actual tiers.
Yeah,
so
gotta remind the people.
Gotta remind, or rather, introduce them to the new one. Now, of course, what we have here at the top is the absolute correct choice, which no brainer. Next down the list is easily defendable decision. Now, this is kind of where we would put in the conversation. Now, for this one, the argument can be made that somebody else could have easily been slotted in for that, but this is not a bad choice. You could defend the reasons that this person did win. Next one is usually our middle of the road one. Handful of good choices, and they got picked. this is usually when you have a certain era where you got the roster that's stacked, that main event scene is cooking, and you could pick a good amount of people out of that roster, and this person just happened to edge them out and get that win, and hey, we're not mad at it. Now is can't even defend the choice. This is somebody who it's like, I don't know how you even decided to pick this person. They're not as bad. They're absolutely not as bad, but it's just like this is a spoiler alert. Batista's second Royal Rumble.
For sure. WrestleMania 30 for sure.
Of course, we couldn't leave out the fan favorite tier of dog shit, but this one we remixed a little bit. It's absolute dog shit choice, which you can't defend it. There's no reason, no rhyme or reason as to why. This is just horrible all the way around, and it should never have been done. And then at the very bottom, it's a special list. We couldn't really rank anybody when it comes to this one. It's completely irrelevant. It's usually designated for probably the first few set of people within the list that we're going to rank, because we had to double check, and it wasn't until 93 when the championship was actually a prize, or rather the vying for the championship was a prize until 93. So the first set of Royal Rumble matches were really just, I would say, trial runs, and really just to be a spectacle in itself. But now we can easily get into it with our first pick, which would be the inaugural winner, Mr. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Beloved, gotta love Hacksaw. But at the same time, it's not kind of with the championships, not the same thing as that, as we would put like a Pat Patterson or somebody. For me, completely irrelevant. Kind of the same thing as the next winner, Big John Studd. And here's the thing about Big John Studd. I like Big John Studd, but in the era that he was in, I can't even say the era, with Hulk Hogan being there, you just couldn't get anywhere unless like you really just had it unless you were a top heel, or you just happened to be one hell of a fan favorite baby face, like the Ultimate Warrior or Macho Man to an extent. Nobody else stood a chance. So this, again, completely irrelevant. Of course, we have...
You can leave him down. You can leave him down there. 1000% go ahead and leave him down there. I know we're not, but you can leave him down there.
He won back-to-back, Scoot.
And he could be back-to-back down there.
I believe it was his second run where he won, and that year he faced Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania in that title for title match. But yeah, and I think in that one they actually end up building up the story for that as well. Or maybe it was the first one, I can't remember, because one was with the Mega Powers too, where they were building for that. This next one, Ric Flair,
the absolute correct choice. Because if I'm not, if I don't remember correctly, he defended his championship.
This was for the World Championship, and Scoot, I'm glad because we're on the same page with this, because I was going to say the same thing.
He defended the championship
because the influence that it had moving forward.
Yep.
Absolute. Yes.
Absolutely. You can't be mad at it.
Next up, Yokozuna, first member of the Anoa'i family to win the Rumble.
So,
and
personally,
first person to go to WrestleMania for it.
Personally speaking, It's a tie between easily defendable decision and correct choice because he was the dominant foreign heel. And there was no denying Yokozuna at that time. So I'm not mad with one of the top two choices. Personally speaking.
Hold on, wait. Which two were you going with, Scoot?
Absolute correct choice or easily defendable. Either one of the two. I'm not mad with either or.
I gotta go with correct choice just because it's Yoko, man, and I don't know if Yoko was ever badly booked up until like his last few years.
He wasn't really badly booked. They just did some questionable booking for him because he was booked as that foreign heel, that foreign menace, and he was booked very dominantly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The 94 Rumble, Hitman and Luger. This one was weird, but I think more or less this was where it's like you had both feet on it's almost like creative was split. It's like they wanted Luger to win, like they desperately wanted him to win, but it was like you got the fan favorite in Bret Hart, and he was that guy at the time as well. So it's just like, who do we go with? Oh well, let's just go with both. Questionable Royal Rumble match aside, and going with that because to be like, hey, because here's the thing with that, and I know I'm about to go on just like a small.
No, go ahead. But flex that wrestling knowledge.
There's no way that this would have been fair because let's say that because Luger went first. And let's just say he won the match and he won the title. He would have to then go up against a fresh Bret Hart to defend the title. So it's just like,
hey,
how did you expect this to go?
Look, that's why it's a big old can't defend this choice. Cause it was interesting. It was,
and wait, and I believe this was that the same year that Bret
when Hogan when Hogan took Bret's spot at the end?
I digress.
Yeah,
I digress.
It is that one.
Next up, Mr. HBK, Shawn Michaels.
I mean, it's hard not to put one of the greatest ever to the tippy top. I mean, just throwing it out there.
Shawn Michaels at this time, look, and you talk about properly booked people,
right?
And you know what? Matter of fact, everybody listening, I want you all to put a pin in every time we talk about properly booked people and the right choices that are made. Because Shawn Michaels at the time was the hottest thing outside of Bret Hart. He was the hottest up and coming person from being in the Rockers and being able to tear him away from that, having him become a hot heel at that, and then turning him into the most beloved babyface, and then going with that and pushing him to the moon with that whole situation. Granted, yes, you had competition, WCW and all that, and he was pretty much one of the only people a little bit after that because you still had to click there at the time. But at the same time, with the amount of talent that they had within that core for him, and then to even take the risk of having him then go for
back
95, yes, and being the first person to go
properly go back to back.
Yes,
Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah, you're right. See, I completely forgot that Hulk Hogan went back to back because it was so irrelevant. But yes, to properly go back to back.
And the thing is to even piggyback, think of, and I know we got possibly newer fans and fans that may have jumped in the middle. Think the way Shawn Michaels was booked then, kind of like how Roman Reigns was booked, and sort of kind of booked, because it wasn't like they was trying to ignore the other wrestlers or anything. There, it's just that for the basketball fans, if LeBron or Curry or KD or whoever got the hot hand, you're gonna keep passing the ball to the hot hand.
Yes.
And that's literally what Shawn Michaels was at that time. In 95, 96, he was the hot hand, because when we get to 97 and 98, it violently passed the torch. Unintentionally, intentionally, the torch was passed, because at that time, it was clear we will put the ball in the hands of the person we know is going to score. And Shawn was going to score, whether he was paired with Diesel, whether he was going against Diesel, whether he went against Vader, whether he went against Bret. And then, of course, the story with him and Bret, the childhood dream and the Iron Man match. And come on, like, you could not have booked somebody better until we get to 97. Until we get to 97.
And you talk about a paradigm shift in wrestling. You talk about knowing who to book, and I'm just going off of Shawn Michaels at this point, but going from one person to making the necessary decision to pivot. Granted, Shawn Michaels did get hurt, but it was still, this still would have gone this way. Even if Shawn Michaels didn't get hurt, I believe this still would have went this exact same way, because the thing is, Shawn Michaels getting hurt. Yeah, he had no choice, but at the same time, him being hurt never once affected any of the booking decisions.
No, it wasn't one of them like, oh, the product faltered. It was literally, correct. Oh, Shawn, unfortunately you out, but guess what? Here's the next man up. And boy, did it work out. It
did. And me and Scoot, I'm pretty sure we're on the same page with this one. Absolutely. And then even with the same thing, you went from one back-to-back to another back-to-back. When you talk about
wait, hold on. Before we get into it, I am going to do something mildly uncharacteristic.
Okay.
Are y'all checking out these graphics the boy Dizzle whipped together? Not only does he have the wrestlers, but he has the logo to the respected Royal Rumble that they won. Like, that is dedication.
Oh, you know,
like, he's doing the damn thing over there. But my bad. Go ahead and continue.
We trying. But yeah, of course, Stone Cold does go back to back. Now I will say this: you could easily make the argument for somebody else being there, but at the same time, when you talk about the popularity and the fanfare that this person had, and I'm only saying this because of the roster at that time, the amount of people that he was stacked up against and how he still was up here with it. You can't, you just can't. Now, unfortunately, where we were at the high of highs, and unfortunately we had to get to a questionable.
See, this is that weird gray area.
I know what you're about to say, but I'm gonna let you cook.
Storyline wise, it made sense. Overall, it was like, really, Vince? Really, Vince? So handful of good choices.
You know what? Because we're able to defend it
storyline wise.
Yes. Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, he would be down there next to Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting it out there.
Now, of course, Mr. Maivia, The Rock.
I mean, once again,
Dwayne.
The same thing we said about Shawn, the same thing we said about Austin applies to The Rock. That man was hot cakes.
Easy.
Merch seller, eyebrow raising, catchphrase having. You couldn't. And funny enough, 25 years later, you want to slander the man's cousin for being the following in the same suit. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? You would have thought that the WWE did not know what they was doing. Because a man who is super over and super popular with the fans and business-wise wins the Royal Rumble. You would think that would make sense. But we'll get
I love
there
how
when
this
we get
is. There. Yeah, I love how this is a nice, domino effect and a lead up.
It's a very much so a domino effect. Very much so.
And we got to go with Stone Cold again because he was
the only
3-time winner of the Royal Rumble. Now during this time, I believe, was it this one?
One is when, if I remember correctly, wasn't it when he turned and joined McMahon?
Because I'm trying to remember if 01 was, because I can't remember which one, if it was this one or the next one that was like my favorite Rumble, because it's one where Stone Cold started and he brought the chair in and he was just beating everybody with the chair.
I think it was
it was this one.
I think it was that one.
Yeah, because Kane at this time he had already partnered with Undertaker, and Kane was like in the best shape that he had ever been. So this was my absolute favorite Rumble.
Another missed opportunity on a potential Rumble winner.
Which one?
Kane.
Oh, Kane should have won a Rumble.
Kane should have won a Rumble. I don't know which one, but he should have won one. I'm gonna just put that out there.
The roster again. This roster was another stacked. This probably one of the most stacked rosters between this one and the year after.
So the problem is it's going to get weird because y'all can't see what I can see. So easily the next three belongs at the top because of their positioning.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, actually, no, they can see what I can see. So that's what I'm talking about. So easily the positioning for sure. Because I mean, at that time, you would think the most popular superstar should win the Rumble, or at least something of that nature.
You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna put Stone Cold up here.
Yeah.
Only because the longevity that he's had.
Mad with the whole easily defendable at the same time too. But
you know what? Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. You're right. Because I can't. It's my bias because of the Rumble. Because that roster was so stacked, you could have easily gone, potentially with the Jericho angle, Kane, at this point. So yeah. Next up,
I will forever have a supreme bias. So of course I'm gonna always say the tippy top. From the torn quad to his return back from being a heel to a babyface, just with the reception, you talk about one of the biggest pops
on Raw.
And once again, this man who now runs the company gets the idea of who gets the most fan reaction. But I digress. You know, Taz style. But I digress.
It's almost like we made this tier list just for Jey Uso.
I mean, the correlations is crazy.
Next up, you talk about somebody who had one hell of a debut and year.
Child. Look at regardless of how you feel about Brockington Lesnar, whether then or today, that man was if you never saw 03 Brock, talk about a rookie of the year. Jeez.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Just G's.
There's nothing that can be said that hasn't already been said about Brock Lesnar at that time.
At that time.
And this is pre-prime.
Right?
Pre-prime.
Now, for those who know, I'm going to feel differently when he comes back up. Don't worry.
Now let me go ahead and say this because I feel it needs to be said because a lot of people will be up in arms when it comes to the next one. Now, I am somebody who personal business I can separate it. I know there's a lot of people that make videos that have even made Royal Rumble videos, WrestleMania videos, where they will omit this person's name. I'm not going to do that. I never will do it because it's not me. And I have an immense respect for the in-ring competitor that this person is and the person that I grew up watching. So what this person did in the personal side has nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about or what we're going to talk about in regards to this.
Facts.
I don't think we've ever made a video or discussed anything personal. Now, we may have made mention of said things here and there, but we've never gone to the links of discussing anything like that. Everything that we usually talk about usually pertains to booking, in-ring stuff. Same thing when I talk about Charlotte. I don't talk about Ashley Flair.
Yes.
You know, I don't talk about her like that. I just talk about the way she's booked and her character. That's neither here nor there. So when I talk about this next person being Chris Benoit, I have all the respect in the world for what he's done in ring and what he's done for the world of professional wrestling. So in the comments, you can miss us with all the BS in regards to us talking about him and what you got an issue with this personal stuff, take it elsewhere, because that's not what we're here for. So there we go. Scoot, what you got?
So I will say this. I remember when he won, I was shocked because I was like, oh shit, are they really trying to make Chris a superstar? Because Chris was always mid-card, maybe upper mid-card, and then it was like, boom, Rumble. It was like, oh, shit. So,
yes,
I mean, easily defendable for me. Like, it's an easily defendable decision because, I mean, he was working his ass off at that time. And he won it at a time where you had to kind of fix and shift some things because some of the quote-unquote old guard was leaving and already in their spots. And then it was like, okay, it really is time to start making some names for some new people. You know what I'm saying? So it's easily defendable.
And that's where I'm. I'm absolutely going to put him there because I personally believe that Eddie Guerrero could have easily won the Rumble that year. They could have slotted him in, and because you still could have had the same WrestleMania 20 moment for these two and just swap them. But yeah, for this, absolutely, Next up, Batista.
I mean,
Batista.
Same thing. How can you hold on? Let me click back on that. How can you not see a man like this and not think, oh, yep, he's next up?
I think the tallest Filipino in the world, man.
Right? So easily it was being booked that Batista is next up. You know, he had the whole thing with Evolution happening. He, you know, saying was like, nah, Trips, I'm going against you at Mania. And it was like, oh, what? And yeah, I mean, you not, if y'all had not go back and watch the video that I have done on this man and why I crowned him the best wrestler turned actor, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of how this went about, it was almost like a complete swerve, because you could easily have been like, oh yeah, Randy Orton. But the fact that you had the muscle of Evolution,
yes,
be the person that you stack up against and then pair with John Cena. Oh, no.
Yeah, easily.
Scoot.
Okay. This is going to be a tough one. And it's only reason why it's tough. I'm not mad at him winning, but we all know it's because of, may he rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero.
Yes. Now, I have a question, Scoot, before you make your decision on this one.
What's up? Do
you think if Eddie no, you know what? Never mind. I can't say that because you had Batista. No. I can't say that. I can't ask this. Do you think if Eddie was still alive during this time, would he have been the choice instead of a Rey Mysterio?
Possibly, because we have to remember what happened around this time done so many wrestlers good, and that was the brand split.
Okay.
You had Raw creating theirs on that side. You had SmackDown, because let's not forget the SmackDown 6 and all of that. So I can 1000% seeing Eddie being in the position of Rey.
Okay.
1000%.
Okay. Now, where do you put Rey on here?
I could say handful of good choices. Because once again, or you can even say defendable, because I mean it's not a bad choice. I mean, Rey was already solidified before he even got to WWE from his tenure in WCW. It was kind of jarring / okay, you're doing it for Eddie. Eddie meant so much to so many people. So yeah, let's do it. So I'm not mad with the,
No, for that, I want to put it in easily defendable.
Yeah.
Because it did set a precedent, because I look at it like this. Because I mean, Benoit could have stacked up against a lot of people given his size and stuff like that. It's because of how ruthless he was in the ring, almost like a next level intensity compared to a Bret Hart at the time.
Yes.
What Rey did for this, it set the standard to where how you have guys like Daniel Bryan, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, guys of a shorter stature who do stack up well, and how it set a tempo moving forward with guys that can be pushed. So that's the highest that I can put it. So yeah, absolutely. Next
y'all
up,
gonna be surprised when I say this one. Okay, Undertaker, he won 07. This is his Beyonce winning the album of the year for Cowboy Carter. This is his Denzel Washington winning the Oscar for Training Day.
Oh, you're thinking how I'm thinking. Well overdue.
There you go. This was well overdue. This was like, hey, oh shit, Undertaker, y'all. We still have Undertaker. And not that it wasn't a bad choice, because storyline wise and whatever, you know, you had the streak, and of course, you know, you had title versus streak and all of that. But this was 100% like, we got to give him one, y'all.
Yeah,
we got to give him one. I mean, don't get me wrong, the whole final sequence with him and Shawn Michaels and everything, chef kiss, because that set up down the line. But this was 100% like that. All right, y'all, we got to give Taker one of them, especially since the streak was involved with storyline and everything. So I'm not mad with you putting him next to Vince or wherever you decide to end up.
No, absolutely, that's right. Because us saying it's overdue, that doesn't really entail the fact that it was the best choice. It's just the fact that it should have been done at sooner. But you know, we're not mad at. So yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because again, a stacked roster.
Yes.
Speaking of stacked roster, Superman himself.
Literally. That boy Triple H thought he had it in the bag until number 30 showed up. Till number 30 showed up.
Which is crazy because he returned from injury here to win, like Triple H did. Triple H had returned previously. Triple H returned to announce that he was going to be in the Royal Rumble, but John Cena came back sooner than everybody expected him to, which was a good, nice little tally on him. But yeah, absolutely not mad at it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the correct choice, because I mean, Cena once again, the most popular superstar amongst the fans, and
because he was getting booed at this point too, a little bit, not too much,
but once again, he was still popular because he got interaction.
He came back for that pop and got that pop.
He came back for the pop.
And speaking of Cena counterpart, Randall Keith Orton.
Look here, 09 Orton was villainy at its best. 08, 09 Orton. Okay, for those who don't know, this storyline in particular, and when I tell people at home, I pretty much call this storyline to a T. He was running havoc on the McMahon family.
Yes.
He had just punted Vince McMahon, and he had won the Rumble, so they couldn't fire him. The only shitty part is he lost at WrestleMania.
And this poor Mania match had to follow one of the matter of fact,
the choice was absolute correct choice because what was happening surrounding, but the subsequent match that happened in Mania kind of fucked it up.
And that was here.
Yes, it was.
That was here because
I went to the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and it was like, the fuck you want me to go do after that?
Ain't nothing you can do. Not
at
for
all.
That. We got Adam Copeland, aka Edge.
Once again, if you are a long-time WWE fan, it made sense. Like it was one of those like, okay, rated R superstar, Mr. Opportunity. You know, it made sense.
You know what? And another sidebar here when it comes to Edge. You think about somebody who was technically, I mean, granted, anybody's fireable, but the way his career went in WWE from, tag team, mid card, tag team, and continuing on, it was pretty much just stable. You know, it was almost like that one company guy that you just couldn't fire because he did just enough to get his job done, and then sometimes he did over, a little bit over. And he never hit that peak. And then when he turned heel, won the Money in the Bank, and then it's like that switch was flipped, and it's almost like a career resurgence, even though he never had a dip in his career like that. He just
again, a benefit of a brand split.
That's true.
Benefit of a brand split, because he can go run SmackDown per se, while Raw was on. Because for those who don't know, there was a block of years where SmackDown was the show to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
Raw was fine, but if you really wanted to see like some top-notch shit that was happening, it was SmackDown. And
yes,
Edge was a big proponent of that.
And shout out to Paul Heyman for that SmackDown, because oh boy, that
he was
roster
over there chefing it up. He was chefing.
Because he came up with the concept of the SmackDown 6, and the fact that is still, it's not utilized to its full extent, but it is utilized to some degree across the board in a lot of professional wrestling companies. But absolutely. Now, Scoot, we have the first ever 40-man Royal Rumble. Well, the only at this point, and it's winner. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow, we got so racked up with Edge, we never even placed it.
Yeah, correct choice. Now, the Mexican aristocrat Alberto Del Rio. Now, I will say this: Alberto Del Rio was not a bad wrestler.
No.
The problem with Alberto Del Rio was you can tell they wanted him to be a superstar.
Yeah.
They wanted him to be a superstar, and I don't know if it wasn't for the fact that he was ready or the fans wasn't ready, but him winning the Rumble wasn't a bad choice. Excuse me, because Brian Zane, Wrestling with Regret, he recently, last week, just did a video on that Rumble, and watching it back and seeing who was all in it. CM Punk was supposed to be the choice, but there's the whole new Nexus and all of that. But
yeah,
he wasn't a bad choice. It's just sometimes hindsight can fuck things up. So,
of course,
I'm not mad with putting him next to the Undertaker.
Oh, that's interesting.
At the same time, I'm not mad with you putting him next to Bret and Luger either.
No, because it's an easily defendable choice. It's because again, like you said, you can tell it's what they wanted to do. Now, could there have been other people that would have been more deserving? Oh, absolutely.
See, at that time too, this was that weird turn the company was having too, and they was putting in fluff people in the Rumble, because, like, once again, just recently seeing it when Brian Zane went through it, there was so many people that you knew damn well, and plus they increased it by 10 to 40. The whole new Nexus was in it. The whole core was in it. There was so much fluff in that Rumble to where it was like, okay, y'all got it.
Yeah, it just, now personally, I didn't care when this happened. I was kind of floundering with watching WWE at the moment too, around that time. So I'm not mad at you. Yeah, and then I think around this point I was actually, because I was kind of iffy, but I was still kind of floundering, like you said, but I was coming back in. And then of course we had 2012 and Sheamus won.
Mr. I won the championship in 18 seconds. Or was it 21? Whatever it was. Once again, funny enough, he falls in that same boat as Del Rio. You can tell they wanted to make him a star. Not saying Sheamus isn't. I thoroughly enjoy Sheamus.
Yeah.
Now I will say this. I wasn't the biggest fan of Sheamus his first part of his career, but I'm gonna just put it out there. If it wasn't for the bar, shout out to Cesaro, I don't know how I would truly feel about Sheamus. When he teamed up with Cesaro, it was something about that partnership that was just, I'm here for it.
It's
but up until then, I was kind of with Sheamus.
It's that whole, we're gonna have them fight and become bitter rivals and then pair them together as a tag team. It was that storyline with them, but done right. Because you don't always get that, because you can get the weird bedfellows and stuff like that where you want to pair them together and they still kind of bicker and whatever, but because even with the how they did it back in the Attitude Era, where they tried to do it with Michaels and Austin, they tried to do it with of course Rock and Mankind, Stone Cold, Dude Love, to an extent, Rock and Taker. Well, they tried to do it with that. They tried to do the same thing with well, no, I can't say Shawn and Taker because that never really, but I digress. So a lot of that stuff never really felt right, but to take two top tier mid card guys and then to do it works way better than doing it with two top level main event guys, or a main event guy and a mid card guy. This worked.
It very much so did. And to be honest, if you didn't like it at that time, then you would probably be a hater. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I'm just being a hater. Like I said, if you truly did not like the bar, then you was really being a hater.
Especially at the time where you had them in the same pool as New Day and the Usos when they were on fire. And for them to hold their own during that time, no question.
No question.
Jonathan Cena for a second.
This is where it's going to get controversial. He didn't need that.
For the second time. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He didn't need that. He didn't need that at all.
No.
It was literally This is foreshadowing to a certain woman superstar that we will talk about who won this year. But he didn't need that.
No.
At all. The problem is with Rumble, especially around, not so much around this time, but with certain people. I hate the notion of they're making it seem like certain people, this is their only chance to be on Rumble. I mean, to be on Mania and things like that. And John Cena, come on now. We know you're going to be at Mania. Who you're fighting. And once again, to keep him around that title picture, it was like, it wasn't necessary.
It wasn't. It was not. And now I'm gonna save that little tidbit from when we talk about the about Jey. But it doesn't embody what I believe Royal Rumble is meant to achieve. Kind of the same thing with the King of the Ring. I feel that when you're already established like that, it's almost kind of like the Undertaker, regardless of whether he has a title match or a feud, whatever, Undertaker at that time, up until his retirement, you would always
go ahead and talk to the people. I'll be back.
No, you're good. Always expect to be at Mania. So in terms of John Cena, it wasn't necessary. Now, when he won his first time, you could easily make the argument because he's one of the hottest guys. He's coming back. It was a surprise, especially when he got hurt, because he wasn't expecting. Nobody would have expected him to be back so soon. So when it comes to this, and this is around the time where people were already getting tired of John Cena, even though he was, the company man, he was the one that everybody would go to for any and everything WWE related. He was the WWE poster child, and that's fine. But when you get to a point where you need to make other stars, you need to make new stars, especially with the roster that you have, at around this time, it was that time to be able to set the stage for the next handful of guys that were going to be able to be a potential new face, or to be the potential guys that you can depend on within that. But when you have all these guys sacrificing themselves, or you, i.e. Vince, sacrificing your roster to just feed them to John Cena to up his stock, doesn't really do any good for anybody. So for this, just like Scoot said, completely unnecessary for him to win. I'm not gonna put him in dog shit, because for Cena, he's their guy, but I'm absolutely
yes. Hey, John Cena, don't worry, because you're not about to be alone.
and by that, we had Hollywood Batista.
Child, this was 100% a give it to him. This was complete change from when. I'm fine with that too, because considering how it played out, and then considering the fallout behind it, it was like, why did y'all do that in the first place then?
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's not the fact that it's Batista. Now, granted, Batista understood what the call was. He knew what the right choice was. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it was Batista. Anybody on that roster that was not Daniel Bryan would have been in the same slot. This whole Rumble WrestleMania season for that year was an anomaly, because there was only one choice. There was only one choice,
and that is the leader of the Yes Movement.
Yes.
There was no like, because even when they do the swerve in there with when he got eliminated, it was like literally the wind was literally let out the sails, because no matter who would have won, the fans was going to turn their back on him.
Yes.
Because there was only one clear winner, and his name was Daniel Bryan. And when they didn't do it, it was like, man, fuck whoever win now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I believe this was that same year where I believe they were cheering for both Rusev. No. Sorry. That was a different year. That was when Roman won.
That was next year.
I believe they were cheering for Roman at a certain point during this match.
Yeah.
And like, come on.
Yeah.
Either way, speaking of Roman Reigns, the infamous confused Rock look face.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you didn't know the story behind this one, this was the era in WWE where we wanted something new, something fresh. The problem with this era was the big dog at the time was not a bad choice, but the way that they were shoving the big dog down our throats, pause, it was like, we don't want this. We don't, because once again, the writings were on the wall.
Yes.
And it was like, we know what y'all wanted to do. Hence why, if you remember the fallout, look at what they did at WrestleMania. Look at what they had to do that year's WrestleMania after Roman Reigns won to spice it up. You had the, as Michael Cole put it, the heist of the century had to happen in order to not have the people completely reject this.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, he can go next to Sheamus.
Now, the next one was a unique one, but this is also a callback
to 92.
Yes.
This is gonna hurt me. This is gonna hurt me. This is when Triple H, okay, for those who didn't know, they forced Roman Reigns to defend his championship in this Rumble. And the beauty of this, Roman got eliminated, I think, in the last 4, if I remember correctly, or the last 3. And the last 2 was Triple H and Dean Ambrose. And the people were going stupid because they was like, oh shit, could Dino get him one? No, it was Triple H. Just for Roman Reigns to subsequently win his belt back at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put him next to Cena, but we're gonna have to put him next to that Cena one because this was all for storyline wise.
Yes.
And it was all to kind of once again boost up Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
To get Roman Reigns.
Because I'm not mad at him winning that. You know, I don't think it was the right choice, but you know, I'm a Triple H stan, so
same.
There's that. So at the same time, you know, it was cool to see him win, but it absolutely was not the right choice to go with. Another weird choice. Well, I'm not gonna say weird choice. I'm gonna say weird outcome because
I'm gonna get my bars off this one.
I'm gonna get my storyline. The storyline on this one was fantastic, but the payoff was
How dare how dare y'all do this? This is by far the wildest booking I've ever seen. This man infiltrated the Wyatt family, pretended to be a loyal member to the Wyatt family, got Luke Harper kicked out of the Wyatt family because Randy Orton was in the ear of Bray Wyatt. Then he burned down Bray Wyatt's house and all of that good shit. And Bray finally won the championship at that Elimination Chamber. And he got no get back.
No.
He got no get back against Randy Orton. Matter of fact, unfortunately, may he rest in peace, Bray Wyatt, he never got get back at Randy Orton. Because even when he was the Fiend, Randy Orton set him on fire. And he didn't get back. But go ahead and put him next to Batista.
Yeah, because
that was just
this easily should have either been Luke Harper or it should have been a triple threat at Mania.
It should have been a triple threat.
At the very least. Now, we about to get into our paired Rumble winners.
Yep,
because this is the year.
Women.
Absolutely. First up, because this was a full Japanese winner Rumble for both sides. Shinsuke Nakamura.
You want to take this, or you want me to go ahead and take it?
I'm gladly gonna get the next one.
Go ahead. Okay. This was the absolute correct choice. They just fucked it up. And you know what? I'm pretty sure Dizzle's going to share the same sentiment when we talk about the first women winner too. They fucked this up.
Oh, you know,
Shinsuke and the women's winner had so much aura and so much just badassness. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every Rumble winner needs to win the championship.
correct.
But geez, if this was the time to do it.
Yeah.
Even if the reign didn't last long.
Even if it didn't,
Because AJ could have won it back.
he could have.
He could have won it right back. If they needed to do that.
Yeah,
Easily
because
the right choice.
I was hoping for a nice repeat or an emulated version of the Intercontinental match that they had in New Japan between Shinsuke and AJ Styles. I thought we were getting that. We did not. Yeah. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, this is the absolute perfect winner, because at that time you could see it. You could just see it happening. But I digress. I digress.
So to help out ladies, so to help out this right quick, ladies and gentlemen, because he's about to go nuclear. Because if he leaves out any details, I'll fill it in for him. But ladies and gentlemen, your first winner of the Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh shit.
Asuka. Because at that time, nobody was ready for Asuka. Go ahead, this will get your bars off. Go ahead.
Yeah, nobody should have been ready for Asuka. You talk about the most dominant NXT Women's Champion. Undefeated. Going to the main roster, still undefeated.
No loss.
To then
Put it this way.
take that.
No, wait, hold on. To let y'all know how much they was all in with her undefeated. Her and Miz won the mixed match challenge because it would have went against her undefeated streak. Just throw that out there.
And to have her continue. And here's the thing. This was, out during that time, they still were kind of iffy on whether they were going to keep continuity between NXT and the main roster. She was one of the few people, because you can count them on one hand of the people that they actually allowed to carry on their NXT storylines or whatever with. They continued to talk about her being undefeated through NXT up to the main roster, and continued that up until Royal Rumble, where she deservedly won, rightfully. This was possibly the easiest layup to make. And for those of you who are wondering where all my Charlotte hate comes from, this is absolutely 100,000,000% the reason I do not like the character of Charlotte, because there is no reason that Asuka should have lost at Mania. Charlotte should have been the final boss for Asuka on the main roster at this point. Easily. To not only have Asuka lose to Charlotte, but to have her tap to Charlotte.
Her first loss in WWE as a whole was her tapping to the figure 8.
And then to add insult to injury, have her hug Charlotte at the end.
So to this day, Taiki B and I, we always talk about there should have been one woman to take Asuka's undefeated streak, and it should have been Ember Moon. But since they carried the continuity to WWE, They fucked it with Charlotte.
Upset. Now, I'm trying to keep it tempered because look, the thing is with Charlotte, man, it's just I was a big advocate for Charlotte when she was in NXT, and then her going to the main roster. I was like, perfect booking, fantastic. Charlotte in NXT, one of my favorite women competitors. The way that she's booked, the way she's carried herself, everything, because she was flawed in a way. They kept her humble. I'm cool with the whole Ric Flair aesthetic and wanting to be the best of the best and talking like that, no problem. But even when Rick had his whole persona, he still lost. He still was vulnerable. He still found ways to be relatable in a way to where he can still be up here because he believed it mentally. It was all up here. He still could go in the ring, but he didn't need booking to propel him to a certain degree. He still helped other people and elevate other people through losses as well. WCW, within the early to mid to late 90s, Ric Flair was still that guy, but he still helped elevate other people.
And so once again, this is always been a big issue, regardless of her talents, regardless of whatever she possessed. I cannot like legitimately, there's only one time, and we'll get to her in a bit. There's only one time that I ever thought that Charlotte ever elevated one person. Everybody else, it was a glass ceiling. Because even when her and Sasha was trading the belt back and forth, it made Sasha look weak. Whenever she beats other people, it just doesn't. It doesn't come off. It doesn't come off. It's basically the whole shovel thing. Basically, what they usually accuse Triple H of, that he's going to bury talent in this, that, and the third. And if you ever want to know, like, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm being dead serious. If you ever want to know where all of Asuka's aura went, 2018 WrestleMania is where.
Absolutely.
And she has done things to get it back, and she has done things, but it never. Same thing with Shinsuke. Actually, both of those, they never recovered.
Oh, absolutely. Shinsuke, absolutely. I mean, he got a little bit back.
He got a little bit back.
It still ain't.
It still wasn't from them coming from NXT to WWE. They never got that thing back.
No, absolutely not. And just for those of you who did know, it was the absolute correct choice. The execution was horrible. Now, with our next two, ironically enough, a couple won both the men's and women's. 2017, 18, and 19, Seth Rollins. What? Mr. Carry the company on his back.
I was about to say, if you want to know the definition of putting a team on your back, Seth Rollins. Sethington, as I like to call him every now and then. Putting the company on the back. There is no debating. There is no debating on that, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely not. You couldn't make an argument to defend anything other than that for around this time. Now, other Seth Rollins, like throughout the years or whatever, during that time,
no.
Oh, absolutely not.
Same thing with his wife. As we get into it,
you talk about striking while the iron is hot. It's ironically enough, striking while the iron's hot in a moment. The moment that the fans elevate, push. No question. No question. Now, Becky did have a snowball effect in the opposite direction later on because, you know, sometimes you fly too close to the sun. But during that time, you couldn't tell me there was a better woman to now. Hold up. Now, when it comes to the execution, you had to have Charlotte win a championship just so that way she could be in the first ever women's main event. And this is across the board for a lot of people because a lot of people don't understand the Charlotte hate. And I can understand that some of you could be blind to the fact, but when you watch as much wrestling as we have and been able to either dissect or digest all of this and see where things are going or what could have been or what should have been, this is the reason, because there are just certain things that just should not be done. And especially in such rapid succession, if you're able to see how many times Charlotte has come back and then been automatically slotted. Yes, there have been guys that have been slotted the same way, but this is so blatant.
But see, the problem with it not being, the problem is being so blatant. We're still at that time coming from the aspect of women was hitting the ceiling. And not only was women hitting the ceiling, but they only had about 4 or 5 women that, you know, were at the top. And here it is. They wanted to do something monumental by, you know, Becky choosing Ronda and them happen. And it was like, but wait, we can't leave out Charlotte. So you had Charlotte beat, I forgot who she beat. And it was like, she just took the belt up off of them just to do this storyline, which they repeated the same shit with fucking Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the whole title for title bullshit, because all of a sudden Brock just takes the belt off of Big E. Fuck out of here. But once again, shoehorn Charlotte had to be a part of the first women's main event.
Yeah. And you want to know why this whole match didn't matter to slot Charlotte in? Because the same match that they were building for that Mania, that Becky just happened to be popular and get slotted in, they still did this match later on the very next year.
Yep.
No, sorry. It wasn't next year. It was
later.
It was two years after. Yeah. Sorry, because the next year was the pandemic era.
Yep.
Yeah. So, which anyway, that's another funny story. But speaking of the pandemic era,
go ahead and put Big Drew up there at the very top.
He comeback king on that one.
Because I was in attendance. I was at that Royal Rumble because that was in Houston before shit got weird in the world. That was the year Edge came back. And when I tell you the Minute Maid,
we were all at the Rumble. Yeah, we were all at the Rumble.
The way Minute Maid went stupid for Edge and everything.
Man.
The way Minute Maid went stupid when Drew McIntyre and Ricochet, because they never credited Ricochet, but when Drew McIntyre and Ricochet eliminated Brock Lesnar, oh my God. Oh, and then the moment Drew won, he was immediately, Brock, I'm coming. And he subsequently beat Brock's ass that pandemic WrestleMania too.
He did. Yeah, he had 2 Mania matches that night.
Yeah. You know,
he faced a Big Show after that.
Which was just,
this is weird.
That was so weird. So weird. And you know, I forgot about that until you just said that. Yep.
And of course,
funny enough,
I had to be in attendance for this.
So funny enough, though we just said what we said, she was the correct choice. she was the correct choice. Regardless of how much we begrudgingly want to do it, unfortunately, she really was the correct choice.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna put it there, but here's the thing, Scoot.
She was. Unfortunately, I wasn't happy.
I just hate the fact that she chose NXT.
That was the problem. That was subsequent the problem.
Yeah.
But she was the correct choice.
Like the absolute correct choice.
Unfortunately.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Because trust me, that's the only time she's gonna be up there on this list.
Well, yeah, true. Edge won 2021.
This one, ladies and gentlemen, if you disagree, that's totally fine. But this was I can't even defend this one.
You can't, because it was more of a gimme. It's almost like, because it was like Edge on his farewell tour, so it's like, hey, let's go ahead and give him what we can. But unfortunately, this was during the whole bloodline running basically roughshod on everything, and he kind of got wrapped up in it. This was, you know what? I don't even know who you could have slotted at that time.
No, exactly. Because it wasn't going to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah. That's crazy. Bianca.
You will never hear me say a negative word about Bianca. This right here. Her winning the Rumble. And if you ever want a moment where the feels could hit you, when Bianca and Sasha Banks squared off in that ring, and the emotions hit Bianca, and you can see it in her face that I'm about to cry. And even Sasha, who was like a mega heel, had to snap out of the emotion to be like, no, I'm a heel. Because the moment they shared before that bell rung and the match they gave, which I am so tired of the fucking IWC will not give Sasha Banks her fucking credit. I will say this, that Sasha Banks gave every woman in WWE their best match.
Absolutely. There's and here's the thing, because when we did the Voice podcast on this, before we even started YouTube, our first episode was about the AEW women's division.
Yes.
But we've always touted Sasha Banks from the beginning, because
from the beginning
you can't deny it. Like all the proof is there, and we've run through basically all the 4 horsewomen. We've run through the roster for WWE and all the matches that Sasha's had with said women, and we've given examples as to why people have their best matches with her. AEW is a different story, but at the same time, it's shown there as well. So y'all got to get with it. Y'all got to get with it.
Like, I understand if y'all may not like her attitude or whatever, but go back and watch championship matches. Sasha Banks and Bayley in NXT TakeOver Brooklyn is one of the best WWE matches ever. Not women's match. Overall match ever. Argue with yourself.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks was a key player in that women's division.
Matter of fact, watch that match and then watch Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart Iron Man match, and you can see the similarities as far as storytelling and intensity between the two. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Just saying. But yeah,
hey, go ahead and put him next to that boy Randy Orton. Because when I tell y'all
this guy,
when I tell y'all how pissed I was, see, it don't even want to pop up. That just lets you know it didn't even want to pop up. But for those that wonder, in 2022, when they decided that Brock Lesnar out of nowhere was going to win the Royal Rumble, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Like literally get the fuck out of here.
Wasn't this the one where he lost the title and then jumped into the Rumble?
Yeah, he lost it that night to whatchamacallit? Was it 22 or 23 when he 22 I think when he lost it to Bobby. And just decided to just jump in. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it was like, what?
There was a lot of questionable things that they did with Brock at around this time.
Very questionable. That
just didn't make any sense.
Brock was WWE's panic button for no reason. Bro, he was WWE's panic button for no reason. Accurate.
Ronda.
Oh, but okay.
Hey, she put WrestleMania sign, all right.
Okay, shut up. I say you can put her next to Roman Reigns.
You know, as much hate as Ronda gets, I'm never mad at Ronda.
She did what she needed to do.
Yeah.
It's just I think overall, I think Ronda had to realize that Daniel Bryan said it when he was the Planet champion. Sometimes us wrestling fans be fickle. And you know, we like you when we like you and we don't when we don't. There you go.
That's accurate. Absolutely accurate. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with her being there. That's the least we could do, I guess. Cody Rhodes.
I mean, come on.
Rhodes.
Come on. There's not even debate that he should be next to Bianca.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You can go ahead, put mommy right next to him.
Right next to him.
There was no debate.
Nope. None at all.
Now
you talk about her having her year.
Now him winning last year. I wouldn't mind you putting him next to Ronda Rousey. Because he did not necessarily because the thing is he could have still faced Roman Reigns. He could have won the chamber.
Yeah.
Or something and let Gunther or somebody go against Seth or whatever, but he didn't have to necessarily win back to back.
That's true to think about it like that because I forgot.
Yeah. He could have won the chamber and still chose like whoever they would have chose to win that year could have went against Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And then hell, Drew could have won if that was the case.
Yeah, and they could have that would have added to the story too.
Yeah, Drew could have won, and he could have went against Seth, and then Cody could have won like the chamber, and then boom, Cody could have fought Roman for the second time, but he didn't have to win. Yeah,
I'm with it.
I will never say a bad word about the next young lady that's on this list either.
About BBL Bayley,
she is the role model. She is yours and our role model. This was long overdue for Bayley to get that.
Absolutely.
The build-up around it was a little shaky, but yes.
But I'm with it. Now, normally, because we were doing the men and then the women, I'm going to flip it.
Yeah.
And we're going ahead and just get this out the way. Because, Charlotte won this year's. Personally, I'm getting what I want. She was going to end up there one way or another.
No, it's fine because even so since you just had your rant I'm gonna reel it back.
Go ahead.
It was announced because she announced she was going to be in it.
Mhm.
That's fair. That's fine. This is the shit we always talk about with Charlotte. She'll come back from an injury the first night back, win a championship. She'll come back after a hiatus, be in the title picture.
Mhm.
There was no reason Charlotte needed to win the Rumble. They've been and this is the reason why. Charlotte, unfortunately, has been out for like 13 months.
Yes.
They have been letting women cook. And you literally stopped momentum.
Yeah.
Simple and plain.
100%.
There have been
100%.
mad women cooking. And just for you to, once again, shoehorn Charlotte to come in, it was like, she did not need to be the first woman to win too.
No. And that's the problem that I have with that, because with Charlotte, it's always she has to have or be the first. In some like they always have a way of putting the first on her, and that's what gets me, because it's undeserved. Like, I get, again, she's good in the ring, Ric Flair's daughter, so on and so forth, but there's no reason to have her all the need for her to have the first. Now, granted, she doesn't have all the first, I understand that, but the fact that either you put a first on her or you have her play catch up with somebody who has the first something, because Bayley was the first Grand Slam Women's Champion, and you had to find a way to get Charlotte to have that accolade as well. That's
Watch the Women's Tag Championship. Watch the Women's Tag Championship video we did, and yeah. Which
is another disservice to Asuka as well. But you know, again, I digress. But yeah, no, she was gonna end up in absolute dog shit. Now, that's my bias talking, but at the same time, for me, it's justified, because there was no reason for her to win. You could have made a new star with Roxanne Perez. You could have had Io win this, because the thing is, again, it's one of those situations where Charlotte always ends up being slotted somewhere. You can't tell me that if she didn't win the Rumble, she would have never had a match with Tiffany Stratton, if that's the plan for them.
Exactly. So, to be perfectly honest with you, there was somebody else who's, the reason why my hashtag exists at the moment. I wouldn't have been mad if it would have been Nia.
And oh, speaking of which, Nia has changed a lot of minds over the course of the past year.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Just saying. And at the same time, to Scoot's point, the storyline that Nia's had, she had been beefing with both women's champions back to back. She could have easily won, because it would have made sense for storyline. Now, would I would have liked it? Probably not, but I would have understood it.
Yeah, it would have been more understandable than Charlotte.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, go ahead, so I can go ahead
now
and put it up there so I can clear this one right quick, because
this right here,
y'all
is your 2025 men's Royal Rumble winner. Now, before I let Scoop cook, because he gonna cook,
go ahead.
He's probably gonna say a lot of the things that I was gonna say anyway. Let me make something perfectly clear, so that way Scoot doesn't have to go through the rundown of this. We went through this whole tier list, and you see, because normally we don't put this many people at the top.
Yeah, no, we really don't. But the one thing that a lot of these guys, or the majority of these guys, have in common is the fact that the company saw something within that year or the two previous years that were going on with each of these superstars, and they pulled the trigger
based on the fan reception. Some on fan reception, some on merchandise sales, some on both. Regardless of the fact, if the company is running on all cylinders and they have their finger on the pulse, on the pulse of what the company and the fans want, they're making a decision to push a star. You see how a lot of these up here are either first time or back-to-back, whatever. And a lot of times we have a lot of guys that are on second terms of winning, and those have been dumbed down to whatever other tier at the bottom. That means that it was the right decision at the time. And they did what was necessary because they listened, because they made a new star. And so for anybody listening, understand how many people got mad when Bray Wyatt / The Fiend didn't get pushed. See how mad that people got when Daniel Bryan didn't get pushed, when they thought he needed to get pushed. When everybody, because everybody's argument is, oh, listen to the fans. You don't hear this. Look, Dolph Ziggler had the biggest pop here. Why is he not getting this? Hey, you got this guy over here who's getting pop like this. Hey, you see this female, she's getting this pop. Why aren't you listening to the fans? Okay, so to the people that thinks that Jey
cook.
The reason that Jey won is bad. Did you not watch the same WWE product that we watched? Did you not see the reception that everybody's giving Jey, regardless of how you think he's in the ring, regardless of how his promo is, regardless of the fact or whatever? If you have a new star, this is to set a precedent moving forward to anybody who's going to get the same reception. You got mad when Rusev didn't get pushed and he was the top seller. He was getting pushed, and you got mad when Vince didn't want to push him. So what's the difference between this and with Jey? Scoot, by all means, sir.
Oh, nah. Since you pretty much said everything for me, fuck y'all. There you go. Because Dizzle pretty much said Dizzle pretty much as bitter rivals as we are, he pretty much hit every point I wanted to make, because he's right. The absolute point I wanted to make was his absolute point. Were y'all not watching this last year? Because it's okay if you weren't. Because if you weren't, shut the fuck up. If you were watching this past year, were you watching WWE? Because if you was, shut the fuck up. I happened to attend the Raw that was in December, which was the final Raw on USA. Jey Uso had his segment he did with New Day and Drew McIntyre, and he had a dark match after that. When I tell you, pretty much you feel the energy of him coming out there and doing all of that. You feel it. It's hard not to do it. Funny enough, I was just cheering for New Day, because hashtag New Day did nothing wrong. I was rooting and cheering for New Day, and Jay's music hit right after that, and I'm like, I'm fake as fuck right now. I was just on New Day side. So once again, y'all can't be watching the product. Y'all are just mad that it's Jey Uso. That's what it is. Y'all can't be watching. Y'all can't be. It's impossible for y'all to be watching, because literally everything Dizzle just said is pretty much the best point. And with that being said, guess where Jey Uso was going? Next to Bayley. Yeet.
Absolutely. No question. And again, it's not us arguing the fact that Jey is the best wrestler. It's not us arguing the fact that Jay's the best promo. He has a lot of work to do in both of those. Now, granted, not so much the wrestling. He can wrestle. I mean, he can do that. He has his own style. Now, the promo thing, it's a little bit different. But I understand that because of the fact that Jay's been a tag team wrestler this entire time. Him and Jimmy have been on fire when they are on promos together, because they can bounce off of each other. But you're putting him out there to swim on his own. What do you expect him to do?
Once again, hold on, before you go.
Go ahead.
Mark Briscoe said one of the greatest things I ever heard, and it literally almost brought a tear to my eye. When Mark Briscoe, I think it was right before the Continental Classic the first time. No, was he in the first Continental Classic or was he?
I think he was only in the second. Let me check.
Okay, yeah, I think it was only in the second. But what happened was he was suffering a string of defeats, and I want to say this was either on Collision.
Oh no, that may have been the first one. That may have been the first one.
Okay, he was suffering a string of defeats, and when they went back there, and hold on, let me tap into my inner Briscoe. It's been a while since I did it. They was asking, Mark, how you feeling? He was like, well, you know what? I'm gonna tell y'all this. I've been a tag team wrestler. He was like, I've been a tag team wrestler my whole life. This is my rookie year being a singles wrestler. So I ain't gonna get it right, y'all. I gotta work through it because this is my rookie year being a singles wrestler. The tears that wanted to bring, because one, you had to acknowledge Jey isn't here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm used to being next to Jey. I'm doing this by myself now. Just like Matt and Jeff was able to do it by themselves. Just like the Dudleys was able to do it by themselves. Edge and Christian was able to do it by themselves. Jimmy and Jey are the first twins next to the Bellas are able to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
And for y'all to shit on this man's parade when clearly he's a fan favorite. There's nothing manufactured. They didn't get on the mic and say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, Jey Uso will be coming out, so make sure you get on your feet and crowd participation.
Yeah.
There's no sign that says applause when Jey Uso comes out. That is a natural reaction.
Completely organic.
And for y'all to just be already, and then furthermore, for the list of people we just went over, they didn't win the match at Mania. It was just the honor of winning the Rumble. He just won the Rumble. It's not guaranteed that he's going to beat Gunther or Cody, whoever he decides to choose. It's just the fact of winning the Rumble. Because once again, like we went through the list. Oh, what? Y'all wanted John Cena to win because it's his last year? Fine. That would have been okay. That would have been fine. But considering the storyline, when the last time John Cena won a match? So all of a sudden his luck just changed that fast. Okay, the next in line, CM Punk. Okay, maybe Phil could have won because he could have finally got his WrestleMania moment. I wouldn't have been mad at that choice either. But for y'all out there that just completely been shitting on Jey as if Jey just been a slouch, it's crazy. It's crazy. And this is around the time that it makes me, at times, this is one of those times where it's like, I really don't want to be associated with y'all. And I mean that with a whole heart, because y'all ain't even trying to let the man cook.
Yeah.
Y'all, the moment he won, y'all was shitting on him. Y'all are wild out here in these IWC streets. Y'all really are. Like, there are some times where the IWC can get it right, aka booing Hulk Hogan. There are times we can get it right, and then there are times where we just be like, collectively, y'all know y'all wrong, right?
Oh, absolutely.
This is one of those times. This is one of those times. Let the man enjoy the fact that he was able to win a Royal Rumble. Whether he becomes world heavyweight champion or not, let the man at least enjoy the fact that he can say, can you bring up that list? Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let the man say that he did something this man did. That he did something this man did. That he did something this man did. Let the man cook, goddammit. Just let him cook. Just let him cook.
Yeah, and
let him cook.
The crazy thing about this whole thing is that a lot of people that we put in the top of the list didn't win the championship at Mania.
Yeah, they didn't.
Shawn Michaels, his first Rumble, he went up against Diesel. He lost that match. He didn't win until next year when he went against Bret Hart. Down the list again. Who else? We still got Shinsuke. Still got Asuka. Who else am I missing?
Roman Reigns.
Cody. Roman
Reigns. Yep.
Batista, of course, he did. Brock did.
Well, Batista didn't win his second time.
That's true.
Daniel. Yeah,
that's true. But regardless of the fact, it's not a guarantee. Unfortunately, it's not a guarantee. But it's not. This isn't something new. This was in its inception at the very beginning. They set that tone early on. So even when you think about Bret and Luger, two winners, and they both lost. So,
but see, you know what? For those who watch, whether you watch it, answer it. But this is a true question I really want to throw out there to the IWC. What male wrestler in the WWE was more popular than Jey Uso? His own cousin wasn't even. If you want an example, go watch War Games.
I was about to say that.
Roman Reigns came out. Of course, everybody throw their ones up. And yeah, Jey Uso came out last because he was starting the match with Tama Tonga. Go watch War Games.
But even then, CM Punk as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Jey was the only person out of all 10 men who had a unique entrance. Regardless of him starting the match, he had a unique entrance. So you tell me that that's not somebody putting stock behind Jey? Y'all gotta stop. Matter of fact, even now with the Netflix era, who's the only person that they're putting celebrities with right now? Jey, Quavo, Travis Scott. Part of his entrance and segments. You got Michael Cole. You got Pat McAfee
on the announce table.
The whole announce table, outside the ring, inside the ring.
Monday and tonight, the crowd chanted an encore for them to restart Jey's music so they can. But he shouldn't have won.
Fan reception, fantastic catchphrase.
What's happening here? What's happening here?
You have Yeet replacing what?
Yeah.
In certain instances, not in every instance, but in most instances at this point.
Shout out to LA Knight with the yeah. Y'all wild in this IWC sometimes. Y'all really be out here wilding sometimes. And y'all really should be ashamed of yourselves. There are times y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. It's the Royal Rumble. It's not like it's guaranteed he's gonna win. It's the Royal Rumble. Let the man cook. There have been plenty of people we have discussed on this list that we was like, but the one time where it's like, well, you know what? They kind of got it right.
This is
not only did they get it right, but they did it by making sure he was the closing thing, because many people probably wouldn't have been as happy if the closing thing was Charlotte winning.
Absolutely.
So they closed it out with the men just to make the people go home happy. Hell, I wish Jugs was here because Jugs was there. He probably could have told us.
He sure was.
How crazy electric it was.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not. It's crazy because I'm not even sure that we're like in the same time zone with everybody else, or the same timeline as everybody else, because it makes no sense that all these things can be the same for all these other wrestlers, but all of a sudden you throw Jey in there and everything that made every other decision the correct one is thrown out the window. Because like, where do you expect Jey to go from the Bloodline storyline? The way that he started in the Bloodline storyline with him and Roman and the inception of Main Event Jey to the evolution of what we have now, this was the plan. It just happened to be better than what they wanted it to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't know. I thought it was open and shut when he won. I didn't realize the backlash was going to be like this.
Me neither.
Because it didn't make sense to me. I was like, what? Really?
Yeah. And y'all just
y'all
like,
mad?
y'all. And then not only that, but big man.
Yes.
Oh,
like,
he only has 3 moves. Oh, he only throws super kicks. Don't know about it. Like, what's happening? Like, y'all are like legit upset.
Then to get mad, to be like, oh, if he picks Gunther, they just had a match at Saturday Night's Main Event. Kevin Owens and Cody, Roman and Brock,
Roman and Brock.
Like what?
John Cena and Randy Orton.
Like, New Day and the Usos. Austin
New Day
Rock.
and the Usos.
Undertaker Kane, Shawn Michaels Undertaker. Like, there have been repeats and three-peats of all types of matches. Are you gonna get mad at Shawn Michaels and John Cena? Those 3 matches were fantastic.
No, they're not.
So, like, some of you, I'm gonna say this now. Some of you are fake wrestling fans.
Yes. I'm willing to stand on that one.
Cause y'all can't, like, I can understand being mad at certain products. Cause matter of fact, I can tell you right now, there's a lot of you, and I can tell some of you didn't comment, but I can tell by the like to dislike ratio. Y'all got mad when we talked about AEW stuff, when we shit on AEW. See, when we praise AEW, y'all have no problem with it. But if we shit on AEW and we call out AEW's problems, y'all get mad.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nobody is immune to criticism.
No.
We shit on WWE when AEW first came out. Nobody had a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Y'all got to get it together, man. Y'all got to get it together. But yeah, that's all I got for this. I'm still baffled.
And funny enough, Dizzle and I did say that this was going to be a short one, but we almost pushing 2 hours.
We did. That's crazy.
Yeah, but this is the thing that really is wild, is the fact that you can't really say this if you truly been watching the last year.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really makes it crazy. If you look at 2024 as a whole, how can you not? How can you not?
And understanding, y'all have y'all favorites, and we get that. People like LA Knight, people like Roman, people want Roman to do what he does. You know, people want Sami Zayn. Understandable. I get that. It makes sense. That's fine. But if you look at the metrics and the reception between everybody across the board, there is nobody for this year that's touching Jey. And
you got to think, the only misstep Jey Jey had in the last 365 years was his WrestleMania match against Jim. That was the only misstep.
Absolutely.
That was the only misstep. But
I blame Jimmy for that.
Yeah, I can say the same. But I don't get how when he won the Intercontinental Championship, everybody was happy as hell. When he lost it, we was like, damn, he had to lose it because of his bloodline shit.
Yeah.
The reception, like, it would be different if, like, he was coming out to crickets and it was just like, fam, nobody is caring about this yeet shit. Nobody is caring about this. Nobody's caring about none of that. But actually being a part of it myself, we thought LA Knight was the hometown hero everywhere he went.
Yeah.
And for you fickle fucks, why don't you wait till April 19th and April 20th to see what happens when he comes out to that Vegas crowd?
Now, I will say this. Mania comes along and he has a repeat match like he had last year, like he had with Jimmy, and it's a horrible match. We're absolutely gonna shit on it, but that doesn't take away the fact that it's a deserved win at Rumble. We're only talking about him winning the Rumble and how deserved it is based on the reception and the year that he's had up to this point compared to everybody else on the roster. Whatever happens after this is completely up for discussion, up for ridicule, up for praise if it deserves it, whatever the case is. But all these are isolated instances. That's what you have to understand. A lot of you are taking the aspect of him winning the Rumble and thinking that, oh, Mania season is completely done. You don't know what's going to happen.
Wow.
Crazy. But anyway, I'll close it off with this. Whether you love it, hate it, don't forget to rate it, thumbs up, thumbs down, please leave all your questions, concerns, whether you agree with us or disagree with us, down below. Your favorite WrestleMania, your favorite Rumble match, your favorite Rumble winner. Let us all know it. But until then, let me go ahead and warm up this nice too sweet for my compatriot over here, my rival in all this predictions war. With a bada bam. Now, of course, make sure you tag that like button, tag that notification bell, tag that subscribe button. And until you hear these immaculate voices, see these handsome faces, we bid you all adieu. And until next time, you beautiful mother effers, tag the fucketh out.
Dollars make a way to make a change. Gotta be insane.